Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. This is Dave with you. We're wrapping up our little mini series around YouTube, unofficial mini series. Yeah, this is the last for now on this. You can go back a few episodes. You're going to hear about playlists. You're going to hear about thumbnails. You're going to hear about end cards and all that fun stuff. All that fun things around YouTube and making your YouTube channel work for you as a podcaster. Against all of the advice of those other gurus who tell you YouTube's a waste of your time and YouTube's not a podcast and you're a YouTuber, you're not a podcaster, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to get caught up in all of that garbage. I'm just going to focus on the fact that we are and we need to be where our audience is. And if your audience is on YouTube, then be on YouTube. If your audience is on TikTok, then be on TikTok. If your audience is on LinkedIn, then be on LinkedIn. You need to be where the people are. Instead of sitting in an empty room complaining and asking where everybody is. We're supposed to go out to our community, not expect them to find us. We need to go to where they are. And a lot of our audiences are on YouTube. And there's this expectation about audio podcasts and video podcasts. And should I do video? Should I not? I've got a few examples and some stories I can share with you from people that I've been working with on their podcasts that we can talk about. And I just want to get into a few things around how my YouTube strategy differs from many others and the fact that it's working for me at the same time. So I'm counter to all of what you're going to hear on all those other shows about podcasting. And hopefully this gives you some balance for you to consider. If you've been falling in love with those other podcasts, then maybe this is the episode that might swing you this way and make you part of the How to Podcast family. So that's my hope. So let's go on. There's a clear divide in podcasting at the moment with all the old-time experts in podcasting, whether YouTube and video podcasts are the next thing. If a video podcast on YouTube is a podcast, if a podcast is on YouTube but you can't hear it on Apple, it's not a podcast. If your eyes are required to watch it, it's not a podcast. It just goes on and on and on and on. And frankly, it's getting a little bit exhausting. It's like everyone needs an opinion and everyone has to share it. Here I am sharing my opinion. But my opinion, I think, is a little different. And I hope it gives you some balance. At the end of the day, we need to reach people with a message for our podcast, no matter what that is. And we need to get our stuff in front of people that are going to be interested in it. And one of the biggest platforms in the world with the most amount of people using it on a day-to-day basis, now replacing television, now replacing news, now replacing movie rentals, like and music and on and on and on and on. It just keeps going. Is YouTube. And I think that we are doing our audience and our podcast a disservice if we don't have a YouTube strategy. So if you don't like all the other strategies and you don't want to be super negative like all the gurus, then maybe this strategy might work for you. First, just be there. That's all. Like, you don't have to hit all of the standards and markers and, whatever people are telling you have to do on YouTube. Just, you have to be there. That's the one thing. Be there. If you're not there, you really have no say. And you're never going to see the benefits. You're not going to see the audience growth. You're not going to see your community be built there because you're not there. If you're not there, you're not there. And you really don't have a say. It's like voting. If you don't vote, you don't have a say. So vote for the opportunity to be in front of an audience by simply being there. And the simplest way to be there is to either manually upload your stuff one at a time. We can do that. That's fine. Take your content, have it on YouTube. Done. Even if it's just a talking head Zoom meeting. I know you're going to hear people are going to say that's boring television, that's dumb television, stupid Zoom videos. Nobody watches those. Well, I have proof that they're wrong. So we'll get to that in a moment. Being there is probably the first thing. So you can manually do it on your own. You can upload your own stuff one at a time, or you can leverage the power of an RSS feed, which is that way of uploading to one place and it distributes to many. Most podcast hosts now will allow you to connect your podcast directly to YouTube, or you can do it yourself. And if you don't know how, reach out. You and I can do this together. when you connect your podcast to your RSS feed and then to YouTube, the benefit is every episode goes to YouTube. Now, it goes up as an image, doesn't go up as a video, but it's there. And if you have good titles, good show descriptions, good content, and then you still go in and do what we've talked about in the last few episodes, put a nice thumbnail, create a playlist, add end cards and interactive pieces to what you do, you can really earn the attention of people on YouTube, even if it's an audio podcast. Then people are like, well, if Dave doesn't know what he's talking about, because YouTube's a video platform and you shouldn't do audio, that's dumb. Well, that person is leading you astray, because many people that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of podcasters, they themselves as users throw YouTube on in the background and go do something else. They're not even watching, right? So keep that in mind. There's a reason why these things work. If you go to YouTube, you can get like background music for when you're studying, and you can put on this music. There's no video; it's just music, and it just lives in the background. It keeps you company while you're doing something else. No video required. Nothing on the screen, just an image, and it works. Hundreds of thousands of people use these all the time. So what's the difference between that and a podcast? Nothing. So there's this pressure that people feel that if I'm going to be on YouTube, I have to have video. And that's just not true. It is not true. I have proof. How can I prove this? Well, Living the Next Chapter. It's an author podcast with over 700 episodes. It's my show. One of my 9 shows. And on YouTube, I started out with no promotion. I've never paid anybody to promote my channel at all, even though I get a lot of offers, and thank you kindly, but no thanks. I've never put any money into this at all. I don't promote it. I don't even really talk about it on my show. But every time an episode goes live on Apple, Spotify, Audible, all those other places, it goes to YouTube. I just connected it and I'm done. I go in, I create a thumbnail for every episode. I do use it as an advanced listen because I have so much content that I have more content than I can deliver every month. I have extra episodes. So I release them on YouTube as an early release for my guest and for my audience. So the episode might go live 2 months from now, but right now it's available on YouTube. It's a great tool. So I manually upload a single episode by myself outside of my RSS feed. And then when my RSS feed picks up the episode and distributes it, I technically have 2 copies now. The copy I put up and then the copy that my RSS feeds to YouTube. So what I do is I take the original one that I uploaded earlier and in the past. I make it unlisted and I put it into an archive folder, archive playlist. It's still there. If I delete that link to that first episode that I upload, then if I've shared that link or my guest has shared it, that link's broken. So I don't want to break the link. So I keep that. And then also I have my listens and I have my stats for that original episode. So I make it unlisted and I put it into an archive playlist outside of my regular podcast. So I don't have 2 competing episodes that are exactly the same. And then when my new episode comes through my RSS feed in the future, that's it. It replaces the old one. The old one goes into the archive. I unlist it, but I don't delete it. I don't make it private. I just make it unlisted and I carry forward. It's a manual step that I have to do, granted, but I get the benefit of having both an advanced listen to my audience on YouTube, which is highly searched. It's available early to my guests. They don't have to wait. And then I have the accompanying one that comes in the future when my podcast goes live with that episode. So that's how I do it. Now, I've set up my YouTube channel for Living the Next Chapter and been running it since day 1 of that show. In my 4th year now, with 700 plus episodes, I have over 2,500 watch hours. Watch hours for an audio podcast. I'll say that one more time for the gurus in the back who are scoffing at me right now, crossing their arms and tapping their toe in anger. I have 2,500 watch hours. Watch is a keyword for an audio podcast with no video on YouTube. So when somebody tells me that it's a waste of time to put an audio podcast on YouTube, I can tell you they don't know what they're talking about. They're ignorant. And I'm meaning that in the nicest way possible. I'm not trying to say you're stupid, but you're ignorant in the fact that it does work. It may not work for you, and you're giving out bad advice by telling people that nobody does well on YouTube with an audio podcast. I have the proof. So it works. My engagement's up. The amount of people who follow the show is up. Everything is up. Every week, episode, up, up, up. Everything's going up. And YouTube is now recommending my stuff to people. People are finding the show and then coming to an audio player. It works. It works. It really works. So when I hear gurus just slamming YouTube and saying that an audio podcast on YouTube is stupid, or, if you're on YouTube, you're not a podcaster, it's just like, settle down, everybody. Settle down. The audience is there. They're engaged with the content. And maybe it's just your content. That's why your people aren't engaging with you. You're just boring. Nobody wants to hear your show. That's why you're not growing on YouTube. Maybe put some effort in. Maybe you'll see some better results. So for me, living the next chapter, it's growing. It's going well. And I don't understand why people are so negative to YouTube all the time. It's one more opportunity to be found and have your audience grow. So get your stuff on YouTube. And if you don't know how to do any of this, you're like, this sounds great, Dave, but I don't know what you're talking about. Howtopodcast.ca, my calendar's right there. We do a screen share. We'll set you up, get you all set up. It's a one-time setup, and you're good to go. YouTube and podcasting. It's actually a good idea, despite what everyone else tells you. Now, if I only had one podcast, I have 9. If I only had one podcast, I would do my YouTube channel differently. And how so? Well, I would do probably more video because my guests are requesting it, maybe because it's popular. I would do more video. I would also change how I do the intro to my show. I think on YouTube, you need a different approach to your YouTube version of your podcast than you do on an audio podcast. To the same degree that platforms like you to use their own tools when you post. Platforms hate scheduling tools. They hate automation. They want people, real people, to come to platforms and be engaging on social platforms. Scheduling your Instagram posts to go live over the week instead of actually you doing it and being there live. Platforms don't like those things as much. So they like real people doing real things on their platform. So just the exact same way, I think that's the same for your YouTube as well. So if we keep that in mind, YouTube likes things done the YouTube way. They don't like things done the audio podcasting way. They don't like the way we do it on TikTok. They don't like it coming from Instagram to YouTube. They want you to be a YouTuber as a podcaster. And that's not an evil thing. So I would redo my intros. I would do completely different intros for my podcast if I only had one show. It would be something that catches your attention quickly. There wouldn't be extended music. There wouldn't be chit-chat at the beginning of the episode. It would be straight to it. It would be a promise and then a result within the first 10, 15 seconds. Bam. I want to catch people's attention. Another thing I would do, let's imagine your podcast has four main points. Okay, so it's a 30-minute podcast and you have 4 main points. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. You could release the episode as a complete episode, all 4 points included, release it to YouTube, done. Right? You could take your audio version and just post it to YouTube and you're done. You don't change the intro, you don't change the outro, you don't change the content. Just leave it as it is. And that's good enough. That is good enough. At least you're there. My suggestion for you is to take those 4 pieces, those 4 different components to that episode and release a second version where you have a very quick intro and you're right into it. And I would break them into 4 separate videos instead of having one video with just all 4. Point 1 is a video. Point 2 is another video. Point 3 is a third video. Point 4 is a fourth video. And create 4 versions of the main podcast. So technically you'd have 5. The complete episode with all the points and then 4 separate ones for the 4 separate points. That's how I would do it if I was doing a YouTube channel. Is I'd break them up into chunks. Now, that works great if you're not doing a story podcast because nobody's going to want to go and click on, click on, click on. They want the whole story in one episode. So it depends on your content, depends what you're doing. I would do my interview podcast differently on YouTube with a YouTube first focus. And it would be something that complements my audio podcast. I still love my audio podcast. You're never taking that from me at all. I put all my heart and soul into my audio, and my marginal time is focused on YouTube and video. So that's my balance. I'm the opposite of most people on YouTube. But again, at least I'm on YouTube. So at least I have a say because I'm there. So keep that in mind. I would change the format of my episode to match how people use YouTube. Because trying to get YouTube to transform into the way that I do things, it's never going to happen. I have to transform into the way YouTube does things if I want to see the results that YouTube can offer me. So it's up to me. Do I want to just be there and hope for the best, or do I want to be more YouTube-centric for YouTube and create basically two versions of my show? An audio podcast that goes out to all the audio players, videos ignored, and then a video version that really plays to how people use YouTube. It's the whole Cinderella in the shoe thing. And my question to you about Cinderella's shoe, if it fits so perfectly, why did it fall off? Anyways, things I think about. Another big thing that people don't talk about in podcasts about podcasting and YouTube and podcasting is the fact that there's YouTube Music. Now, YouTube Music is on your phone. It's outside of what you would typically watch on YouTube, on your TV or your computer or whatever. YouTube Music lives outside of that. And YouTube Music is an audio player. And I know it says YouTube Music, but there's podcasts on there. And for you to get on there, you need to have your podcast on YouTube. So get on it. If you want to be on everywhere, you need to be there then. Don't say to your audience, find me wherever you find podcasts. Because if I go to YouTube Music and that's my choice, that's where I go, you're not there, you're not meeting the claim that you're everywhere. You're not. And if you're not on YouTube and that's where I go, you're not there. So you can't claim that. If you're not on TikTok and you're not there, then don't say find me wherever you find podcasts, because I find podcasts on TikTok. I find podcasts on LinkedIn. I find podcasts on all these different places. Are you there? So you might want to drop that from your regular verbiage around your show if you don't want to commit to it. So keep that in mind. Just because you're not there and because you don't like it and it's not where you go, doesn't mean there's other people who aren't there. So stop just playing to your favorites. Understand there's a whole world out there. And this goes to you, Apple people, who never talk about anything Android. And this goes to you, Android people, who think that Apple is just a waste of time. Come on. If you say, find me wherever you find podcasts, then you better be able to be found. Or you need to stop saying that. With all this love around YouTube and all this talk about YouTube in the last few episodes, one thing I would caution you on is that if you do something that YouTube doesn't like, you don't have much recourse. If you break any of their terms of service, if somebody complains about your content, if something happens, it's like 3 strikes and you're out. And there's no recourse. Like, you're done. They own the keys to your kingdom on YouTube. They decide on YouTube who grows and who doesn't grow. They decide who gets shown and who doesn't get shown. It's just like any other social platform in that context. You can do anything you want, but there's always consequences if they don't like what you've done. So the RSS feed, which we talk about often on the show, you own that. And nobody can take that from you. That's yours. So even if one place decides they don't like you anymore and they stop showing your show, or they hide your show, or they don't promote your show, you're still available elsewhere. Might be harder to reach people, but you're available everywhere. YouTube owns you. It's a free platform. You're not paying them to be a contributor on YouTube. They're taking your content. They're making money off of you. That's how it works. And people love it. So if you are controversial, if you do anything that YouTube doesn't like, you could be removed. Just like you could be removed from Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, whatever. Any platform that you don't own, you are at the mercy of the platform. So if you put your whole world into building your community on one single platform, you are threatening that community with extinction. And it could be your fault. It could be completely a mistake. It could be an oversight. But you are at the mercy of the platform. So when we all talk about YouTube and being there, it's in addition to being everywhere else, not in replacement of. So when we saw Joe Rogan go from being everywhere to being only on Spotify and now being available everywhere again, there's a lesson in there. Being on one place and only available on one place means that there's other people who can't get to you. And you face the opportunity and the disadvantage of missing out on listeners and audience. So keep that in mind. As much as we love these platforms and the fact that they're free, we are also at the mercy of whatever they wish to do with us and our content. So there's a good side and a bad side to everything. You need to weigh it out for yourself. At the end of the day, I treat YouTube as a glorified Google Drive that the world has access to. All my stuff gets backed up there for free. If I do video, I do video if I have time. But all my audio goes there. It lives and breathes there. It's easy to be found. It works. People come, they stay, they listen. They don't watch because there's nothing to watch. It's a picture. But they come, they stay. I have proof that people are coming to my shows. I see growth. I see retention. I get great analytics. I get to see things that are really doing well on YouTube that I might want to reinvest on my audio side. I see things in audio side that are not doing as great on YouTube that maybe I need to relook at. It's a great counterbalance to my typical audio audience. And I've had multiple people tell me they found me on YouTube and they followed me over to an audio player. So if I wasn't on YouTube, they would never have found me in the first place. So when we look at podcasting and YouTube, you're going to hear a lot of negative comments and a lot of backlash about YouTube trying to hijack podcasting. I think YouTube is a great addition to your goals for your show through audio podcasting. If you want to do video, great. But I've also been working with people who have gone from an audio podcast to a video podcast and have moved back to audio. The time, the effort, the equipment, the cost does not come back to most hobby podcasters or independent podcasters who don't have a big team and lots of money. They spend all this time and effort and they get very little results in video. Again, because not everybody's watching video. It's on in the background. So my caution to you is if you feel like you're being pushed into video and you don't want to, you don't have to. You can create audio podcasts. You can connect audio podcasts to YouTube and just be done with it. Like, move on. You got other things to worry about. You don't have to grow a YouTube channel. You don't have to get certain numbers. You don't have to worry about your demographics and your analytics on YouTube. Just create your content and move on. But at least be there. That would be my start and my suggestion for you in 2026. Just be there. And then when you have time, think about your desire for your show and show up where you think your audience is and serve them well. And that's it. Again, howtopodcast.ca. We can get together anytime, talk about your journey, your show, and how we can make your show better. Love to help you. Thanks for being here. So I get asked quite often, usually at the end of a podcast, like right now, Dave, how can we help you? Like, how can we as a listener, like, support the show? Can we come rake your leaves? Can we cut the grass? Shovel the snow? Watch your dog? Help you move? What can we do? Clean your dishes? Oh, that'd be interesting. Well, if you can't do that because, you're in Poland, maybe You can help us by supporting us with our Buy Me a Coffee. It's right there on our website. And, it just will help us to, A, stay fueled because, we drink a lot of coffee around here. And it helps the show. So if you want to help us, it's out of the goodness of your heart. I can tell you that listening to the podcast to this point, you've already helped us so much. But I do have people saying, Dave, I'd love to give back something small, even just to the show. Buy Me a Coffee link is on our website at howtopodcast.ca. And you can support the show that way. It would mean a lot to have you on our team supporting what we do here. If you find value in the show, then that's great. Share the show, tell somebody about it. And when somebody says, Dave, I want to start a podcast, who should I check out? Oh, you should go check out the How to Podcast series because of all the great co-hosts and all the things that happen here, the meetups, everything. And I would appreciate that. And then fill our cup once in a while if you can. But again, thank you so much for being here and supporting the How to Podcast series. Take care. Talk soon. Great, you're still here? Okay, all right. So I add these little bonus things at the end for a reason. I want people to listen longer, and only the people who listen to the end even know this part exists. So good on you. You're here. So the question is around creating a listener avatar for my podcast. A lot of podcast experts will tell you that when you start your show, you need some pretend imagined person that you're talking to. And that's how you're going to build out your podcast. I agree. That's a good idea to have a target audience. But my encouragement for you is to quickly abandon the avatar idea once you get your first few listeners. Because I would much rather talk to a real person than a pretend imagined person who I think I'm talking to. I'd much rather talk to somebody I'm actually talking to. So when you get your podcast started and episode 1 goes out and you get 5 listens, it's time to drop the avatar. It's time to go talk to those 5 people. And it's easier to track down 5 listeners than it is 500. So invest your time in the smallness of your show and go after those people and create an atmosphere where they want to talk to you and reciprocate. So that's my encouragement for you. The sooner you can drop the avatar and the sooner you can talk to real people, the better. When I know that Keith listens to my show in Ireland when he walks his dog by the water, by the ocean, then it's easier to create content for him than some imagined person that may or may not listen to my show. Migrate from a fake imagined person to a real one as soon as possible as a podcaster. And you're like, well, how do I find out who these people are? Well, there's tools. There's SpeakPipe, Buy Me a Coffee. There's your website, which you have, your social media, the podcast itself. You can start calling people out. I've talked about this on the show, calling out listeners in a certain city and saying, hey, I'm glad you're listening in X city. Love to hear from you. And they reach out. They do. It takes some time. You got to be consistent. You got to show up. You got to be you. You got to be real. You got to be somebody worth talking to. And they will. So it is possible. And don't think it's not. And if you have any questions about how to reach those first few listeners and get them and switch from an avatar focus to a listener focus, I'd love to talk to you about that. I got some great ideas that can help you. And that's the foundation of a good, solid podcast. It's not about 100,000 listens on the first episode. Nope. It's about focusing on the people that show up and serving them well. And that's my hope for you. I hope you start small. I really do. And I hope you start with a small, hyper-engaged audience who loves what you do and responds to your stuff, just like people for this show who continually reach out in the comments on Spotify, YouTube, through my DMs, email, SpeakPipes, Buy Me a Coffees. You guys are amazing. I hope that for you as well. So whatever you want in life, then be that for someone else. Because then you know what it feels like. Give before you ask in 2026. So if you're worried about small engagement, like working with a small audience and having engagement, then you be the one to engage in other small podcasts before you ask anything of the people who listen to your show. Show by your example how much this means to you by being the one to engage others. That's what I'm expecting from you in 2026. It's not just about getting, it's about giving. Thanks for being here. Talk soon.